Hello and welcome back to CSGB Racing. We are here for yet another week here in the F2 division, and it is this time we're at round 5, which is of course the Belgian Grand Prix. 2 races coming up for you, of course, as usual. We have the feature race, which is 22 laps here, the shortest of any other race here on the calendar in F1, due to it being 44 laps in general. And of course that'll be followed up by a sprint race, which is of course 11 laps, so a very short time to get anything done really. However, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Of course, it's the same length of time as it would usually be. The only difference being you have less laps technically, so in a way less overtaking opportunities. Apart from that, it should be fine. Of course, you can overtake possibly into turn 1, into turn 6. I'm probably going to use corner names. So you got La Source turn 1. Lacombe up at turn, I think, 6. Elsewhere, you probably only ever take a chance properly would be the bus stop into turn 18, I think it is. And everywhere else, I guess if you see a gap, go for it. We're all racers here. We're all going to go for moves that we probably shouldn't sometimes, and then just say, there was a gap, I went for it. But that excuse only gets you out of the mud only a couple of times. Of course, while wondering, it is just me here today, no Mr. Dovey. He's tied up in a load of work stuff, so you have the pleasure of just hearing my wonderful, amazing voice here tonight. If we are getting ready to go, I'll quickly run you through what happened last night in F1. If I can find what I need. Let's have a look. I haven't got all the fancy stuff that B-Boy Worm has on a Monday night. It's just me. You get this screen, and this is all you get. I don't have the fancy overlays and all that stuff. So it's last night. Very mixed conditions. Of course, through qualifying, pretty much a one-lap shootout. The race as well started, of course, dry and went wet. Amazing strategy from Rappel in the end, calling the race very well, going for the wet tyres at a mid-race safety car. Got him the win by provisionally 14 seconds. Obviously Netsky and Silly Sliger rounding up the podium there. And of course, reversing all the finishes for the second race. We had Silly Sliger winning this time, so 2 podiums in one night. Jay Wizzy third and Noah third. Jay Wizzy second and Noah Jones in P3 for Ferrari. Of course, all provisional, anything can happen still, with stewards being announced later on in the week, or at least steward reports. And if someone in the chat can let me know the weather, that will be fantastic. And from that, we've got Connor and Anton in the chat. Hello guys, how you going? How you doing? Hope you're well. Best of luck for tonight. Obviously, this is one of my personal favourite tracks. I don't know why really, I just kind of seem to do well here. Obviously proof last night, I think I had my strongest week so far, with 2 points finishes, which is rare for me this season. I'm taking pretty much anything I can get in a very strong field. We're also waiting for anyone to set some sort of laps. Last week here in F2, just get the race results for that, then move on to the championship for F2. I can find it, scrolling up. So last week, the British Grand Prix, or the Grand Britain Grand Prix, it was JD on pole. I think it was all wet as well. Moving on to the race, we had Kyle Catterson, or Kay Catterson, as you'll see on screen. Of course, if I get all the stuff on the screen, fast stuff. I like the gap to the leader. I don't know why, I just seem to prefer it. It's everything. We get the first car, it's out on track. It's the Ferrari of... No, it's not the Ferrari. McLaren's beating him, so watch Absy. Gotta turn my headset down so I can actually hear myself. Yeah, it was Catterson winning the feature race last week, ahead of Exam in the Mercedes and Thomas rounding up the podium for Racing Point in P3. Looks like after a penalty for JD and the stewards. Moving on to the sprint race of last week, we had Absy winning for McLaren ahead of Bradley and Anton. So Ferrari 2-3 there, helping them out massively. move on to the championship order as it stands from as of last week. Again, if I can find the right list. Still F1, F2, here we go. That's the bottom half. So it is Abzi leading the way. I probably wouldn't have expected that, no disrespect to the driver, of course. I should have seen it's not actually him that's out first. It is it Anton? It is Anton. My mistake. Closely followed by Pim in second. He is only 9 points behind. And then 2 points behind him is JD and the Williams. Two Williams drivers there in second and third, looking quite strong, to be completely honest. Even further down the table, we have Exam and Bradley rounding out the top 5. If we look at the constructors, Williams do lead the way by 17 points ahead of McLaren. Mercedes then follow a number of points behind those. Maths is not my strong point, I think it's 11 points back. Ahead of Ferrari in 4th, Renault, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing. Racing Point are in 8th ahead of Haas and Scuderia Alpha Tauri Honda in P10 at the moment. That's your standings. That's what happened last week and last night. Now we move on to the action here today as our first driver is on the lap. It's going to be Anton now as he heads up through Eau Rouge, up over Raidillon. Don't get those two confused because everyone will have a go at you. Seems to be end of quali. It seems to be raining. However, the feature race is going to be dry, so not too much of an issue there for any of the drivers. So good evening to Mac, Noah and Mr. BWM as well, which I hope you're all doing well. Good luck to Mac as well. Of course, in the race, I believe he drives the Red Bull. Yes, he does. Currently on his lap, somewhere else on the track. Noah, no, James is not here. He might pop up in the chat at some point, but he's been pretty much overloaded by work. So it's just me here today. Aren't you guys all lucky to have that? And yes, it's currently a dry Belgium. However, apparently rain towards the end of this session. So probably in about 10 minutes time, we might start to see a little bit of water dripping down from the Ardennes skies. Of course, as we saw last night in F1, rain, it does what it wants to. Evening to Charlie as well, shame you couldn't be here tonight. But I assure you, watching these races can be a lot more fun sometimes. Especially if you get conditions you don't like. I know a lot of people don't like it in the rain. I personally love the rain. But our first time is in, then it is a Ferrari 1-2 very briefly. As Abzi then eclipses those two. And then Kakasson, last week's winner, pretty much surprised everyone with this pace last week. To put in, I think, a really good provisional pole time, which I think almost stuck. And then he ended up winning the first race. Try and find somebody else on a lap now. Who have we got quite far from the line? We'll go to those. We'll go to Matt Gamer. Actually, no, we won't. He's been invalidated. Give me 2 seconds. His teammate, where's he to? There he is. Also invalidated, okay. The Haas, has he crashed there? I think he may have crashed, not sure which one that is. Is it Connor? It is Connor. He's facing the wrong way at Blanchimont. That's not where you'd want to be. In all honesty, I'm guessing he clipped the curb on the inside there. Have a look. I think Mikey's coming up. Now he is coming up towards Blanchimont, that place. So we just saw the Haas facing the wrong way. Evening to Han as well. Hope you're well. 2 more corners now for Mikey on his lap. What can he do? Does he get a good exit? That's a bit of the back end stepping out with plenty of battery though, and crosses the line. Goes up into P8 at the moment with a 43 something or other. Exam also gone up into P4 at the moment, pretty much splitting the Ferraris, as has Pelderagis and the Alfa Romeo. Rezanowski currently P7 ahead of the driver you're seeing on screen, Mikey. Someone just jumped further up the field. I think Bradley's jumped up into P3, so 2 laps for the Ferrari driver. Tomasz is P9 right now with Kia rounding out of the top 10 as it stands. I believe at the moment everybody's going to be on an in lap. However, this looks like it's still a quick lap from Tomasz. He heads down to the fifth path, or Lafanya, depending if you prefer the older than newer names. I like the older names because I naturally know them. And I think Stavolo, that one, and Paul Frey. I know I said this, I think, for the F1 comms, or the commentary last season. I always get those two at the bottom of the hill mixed up. Well, I know one's Stavolo, one's Paul Frey, or they're both the same corner, and one's the renamed version. I don't actually know. There's still a lap from Tomasz, or is he going to come into the pit lane? He is going to stay out, so he's going to set 2 laps as well. Did the same as Bradley, as JD's gone fastest. Tomasz goes up into P6. Fairly decent from everyone so far, not really any outliers. The top 9 currently covered within a second, just Mikey. In P10, they're only just out of that 1 second mark. Look down, I think Payman's on a lap now, finally got over his qualifying bans. And is here now to actually maybe get a very good result from not the back of the grid. Of course, he won 2 weeks ago in Spain from the back. And I believe he got a podium last week in Silverstone from the back. Or at least he got a good result in Silverstone. With him then up to the line, and it's going to be P1 for original 1-2 for the Williams duo. 14 thousandths of a second separate them at the moment. Very tight at the top. Catterton as well in P3, only 85 thousandths behind. As we move on to Alpha Shroud next, coming through the flat right-hander. And you can just see, if you look up to the skies, it is getting a little bit darker here at Spa. Looks like that rain predicted will be coming at some point over the next 8.5 minutes. Probably why a couple drivers chose to do 2 laps on that first run. But of course, tyre wear's not too much of an issue here. It's an easy one-stop, soft medium or medium soft. That's what you're going to go for, but so far nobody has tried the medium tyres. Everyone's gone for the softs as Alpha goes up into P10. A couple drivers further back down, possibly invalidating their first laps. We're going to ride on board now with PXTR as he heads down the hill towards possibly one of the most famous corners in all of motor racing. It is Eau Rouge as you go up the hill then and flick the car over Radion at the top. Because DRS opened there. Used to be, I think, that second line you saw. But they made it longer because F1 cars can actually not follow each other anymore, because that's how the FIA made them. Anyways, up to Lecom then. You want to use pretty much both of these curbs, but you want to be careful on the throttle. If you do, you can also cut quite a bit at the exit there. You're down the hill to possibly the worst corner in the world. I hate this corner with a passion. Bruxelles. We're heading through, I think, Speaker's Corner or Jackie X Corner. I think, again, that's another one that's been renamed as of recent. Heading down to another very famous corner here at Pouhon. You can't quite clip that inside curve because you will spin, but you can use the outside curve. It's heading now down into the 5th path. I tried a couple of very audacious moves in there last night. Some worked, some didn't. Again, there is another place if you can get a run on out of Pouhon. Not long left to go now for PXTR in that Red Bull as he heads through the flat right-hander and instantly hugs the right-hand side. The shortest distance, of course. Now he's going to switch over to the left as the rain has started to fall by the look of it. We had the little flicker on the screen as he heads through Blanchimont now. The PXTR is possibly going to get the best track conditions here, as he's going to be one of the last cars to set a lap before the rain decides to full on show itself here. Across the line for the Red Bull, and it's provisional pole by 0.3 of a second there. Very impressive lap, pretty much the latest it could have been as well, as the rain's going to get heavier and heavier. We're on to Rizanowski now. At the same point, that's that. How was the race yesterday? Wet. Yeah, most people, I think everyone only got 1 lap in qualifying before the rain came onto the feature race. For me personally, it went alright. I think I could have maybe got a place or 2 more. But to be honest, I'll take 7th. That's one of my highest positions of the season. And then into the sprint race, it was all dry, which I guess is a bonus for a lot of people. And yeah, again, another 7th place for me personally. A lot of very impressive drives yesterday. If you haven't watched yesterday's race, honestly go watch it. As always, B-Boy1 doing a fantastic job with his fancy overlays and all that fancy stuff. But yeah, he smashed it every week this week of the season, completely by himself as well. And also go free to drop a like as well on yesterday's stream. And so whilst you keep leaving likes, might as well drop one here as well. As well as if you're not already subscribed, do hit that red subscribe button. And may as well hit the notification bell as well so you know whenever we go live. It's of course twice a week here in CSGB. As Resident obviously crosses the line, stays 15th, does not improve. As I think the rain is now going to be properly hampering pretty much everybody. We'll see what anybody can do. I think Poldaraga's maybe on an end lap. Adams left the session, so an unfortunate disconnect for the Mercedes driver. Have a look, where's James 2 on a lap? He's cut the inside of Radion, so that's not going to help any improvement for him. Further up, I think Bradley's just started a lap. Actually nope, there's someone else that just started a lap. We have Bradley now. Bottom of the track, he was actually up in sector 1 as Anton's retired. Looks like we have similar fate to yesterday by the look of things. But I think some people got 2 laps in as there is only 4 minutes left. I think most people have retired by 8 minutes left last night. But these guys are lucky they're going to have a full dry feature race. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably too late to set a lap now, Kyle. But yeah, rain has come down. I think a lot of people may be annoyed by this. Of course, you can see Connor and Adam both without a lap time down at the bottom. Connor's on that lap now. Of course, he spun at Blanchamon earlier on, and he spun at Radion now. He's just trying to get the car spun back around. A little bit too much. There we go, now it's facing the right way. But yeah, the rain definitely not going to be helping right now. There's apparently a terrible lap from Mac. Your setup will be better. Yeah, that's usually what I tend to go for. I don't particularly go for a fast setup. I just go for one that's not going to make me spin. As I can see, you've actually gone for the intermediate tyres. That's a bold choice. As a lot of people are coming back out now. That's cars coming back in. I'm not sure, but McGamer here is going to try a run on intermediate tyres. Not sure he's going to improve, as his current lap time is a... if I can get the right one. A 42.8, so he's not going to improve on inters unless he finds some esports level pace. For the moment, with just 2.5 minutes left, it is PXTR on pole, as quite a few drivers have now retired from the session. Not really any point in going back out unless, I guess, you want to go for some wet practice in case the sprint race brings some unfortunate weather for some of you. At the moment, we PXTR on pole, and I don't see that changing either, as the conditions seem to get worse and worse. Amsey will be joining him on that second row with the Williams duo on the third row. Nope, second row. Sorry, my bad. I can read. It's going to be... the next 2 rows are all Ferrari powered, with the Alfa Romeo of Catterson ahead of the duo of Ferraris. 6th and 7th, Romeo and the Haas. There in P8. With McGamer and Tomasz 9th and 10th. Again, another one retires. It's probably going to be it for qualifying now. So you were shaking. Yeah, I used to be like that massively. I still get it a couple of times. I feel like for me now, I think I've done about 130 races. I know at the start I have a wheel and pedals. My left foot would get really twitchy when I'm on a straight. Luckily it's not as bad now, but even sometimes now, if I've had a good lap and I'm coming up to like the end of the lap, my left foot will still shake. Simply just out of, I guess, nervousness. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Just Connor's broken more of his wing. Luchek's actually on a lap here. We completely missed this, but he's on slicks. So I don't think it's going to be any good sort of lap. Yeah, you will be able to control the nerves the more sort of events you do. It does come a little bit over time. I guess any pad users or controller users, if that's what you call them, you won't be as badly affected because you can just everything's in your hands. I guess your foot could still switch if you're on a controller. But yeah, I don't go anywhere as bad as Adam's just come out for another lap. So yeah, it's a very good point there from Charlie. Remember your setups in the sprint. I've forgotten it, I think 3 or 4 times over 1.5 seasons, and it is so painful. As the timer expires though, Adam pretty much gets kicked out of the car. Yeah, it's possibly one of the most painful feelings in the world. The moment you realise you haven't got a setup in the sprint race, it's when your head starts to drop a bit and you're like, why? But yeah, it's painful. Some people may be good at remembering that sort of stuff. I'm tempted to just write it on my hand or something. Waiting on, I think, 4 cars now to retire from the session. Don't know how long the overtime is for this session, but yeah. Haven't got any other timers on my screen, so I guess we just wait now. Oh, did you forget your setup last week? Oh. Pretty sure I even said last week, don't forget your setup for Britain, because I did it and it's the most painful feeling in the world. But we'll run you through the grid order then for this feature race here tonight. It's going to be PXDR on pole with a lap pretty much out of nowhere. I think left it not late, but it's kind of in the middle of the session. Popped his Red Bull up onto pole. He'll be joined by Absy on the front row. 2 Williams drivers off him and JD, 3rd and 4th, ahead of Catterson, Bradley, Anton. Per Mayhem, McGamer and Tomash all in the top 10. They have to start on those soft tyres as always. The rest of them can choose whatever they want. They can go soft, medium, hard, into sort of wets. It's completely up to them. It's going to be Exam ahead of Pelderagus, Kira, Alpha Shroud, Rizanovsky, Just Mikey, Lucek. James Harmon is the last of the drivers to set a time with Connor and Adam both failing to set a time. No, Connor had a couple of attempts, but just couldn't quite get a lap together, and I think Adam disconnected and then didn't have time before the rain hit, so that's unfortunate for him. You feel a setup in Spain? I haven't driven about a setup in Spain for a while. I'd imagine it's quite bad there, but then Spain is a wheel OP track, which helps me a lot. It's the reason it's one of my stronger tracks, is because wheel OP. Those long corners really help. So easy to connect YouTube or Twitch. Ah, okay. Yeah, it helps a lot. I think most people go with YouTube for uploading just like solely incidents. I think Twitch is probably only if you're going to stream the race, and then obviously I don't know how it works. I've never used Twitch. But if you stream it and then I guess you clip it, don't know how it works, but I'm sure if you use Twitch, you know. But yeah, so I use YouTube. I stream on YouTube as well sometimes. I haven't done it for a while. Haven't uploaded for a while as well. I haven't got time to do that anymore, which sucks. I was enjoying that. But I'm going to start streaming races soon, hopefully. But yeah, if you're going to use media output, I mean, you connect to your Twitter if you have that. I know that's a thing you can use. You connect your Twitter to your PlayStation, then you can upload directly as well. But I think they're the only 3 that I know of. There might be more. I don't actually know. So yeah, we're just waiting on Anton to ready up. It'll happen after 90 seconds, I believe. As there we go, the tick has come up next to his name. Now everybody else can start ticking. And let's hope everybody's remembered the fuel loads, because otherwise that's, it's a disqualification if you forget that. Just gonna like and retweet the stream on Twitter, because why not? Haven't really got anything else to do in this period of time. Going to be getting underway for the formation lap very briefly. And then here we go. Green flag is raised. And we are off. Tyres. That one interval. Okay, so a very almost unanimous selection with tyres. Obviously the top 10, as mentioned, they have to start on softs. Those will be a little bit warm. I reckon 10% maximum, as this track is long. The only two drivers not in the top 10 starting on softs, however, are going to be Lucek and Adam, starting in 17th and 20th respectively. Everyone else, so 11th to 16th, as well as 18th and 19th, are all going to be starting on medium, so we're going for the alternate strategy. So I'd imagine they would be going to lap 14 as a guess. I'm not entirely sure. Depends how good their tyre wear is, I guess. I guess anywhere between sort of lap, or that'd be 8 laps, wouldn't it? I guess lap 12 onwards would be a time you can see the medium runners come into the pits. However, the guys starting on softs over top 10 at least, they'll probably be in between sort of lap 6 and 9. Lucek and Adam may be able to get to like lap 10, 11. Again, depending how good their tyre wear is. Which can also be dependent on your assists. I know if you use traction control, your tyres seem to degrade more. I think that's how it works. Your tyres degrade more if you use traction control. I'm not sure how it works with ABS. If you use that, I don't know if it affects your tyre wear. I know obviously you don't visually lock up, but I don't know if the game still has the locking up mechanism. I haven't used ABS for 2 years or so, so I don't know how it works with all that sort of stuff. We're near the end of this first lap, then no one's been disqualified yet. I say yet because I seem to be really good at jinxing people, especially the Ferraris, my teammates. But of course, we always want to see them do well, but I do pretty much have a neutral standing on this, because I love them all the same. That's all that matters here. As the pole sitter then pulls up to his grid slot. One thing I like from this game is you get to do this yourself. Maybe next year's game, I would like the ability to actually pull up into your grid slot yourself. And if you miss it, well, it sucks to be you. It's going to be a little bit awkward. But yeah, of course. Any safety cars on this first lap, and a lot of those drivers are pretty much screwed. Whereas the 5 red lights disappear. We're still waiting on the grid. I don't know why this is happening to me now. This glitch never used to happen to me. As the drivers are revving, and we are, if we get a better camera view, there we go, we are off now for the start of the feature race here. It looks like a good start from one of the Williams drivers. They have a look on the McLaren, the other Williams looking to the inside, and he's actually there. As that's going to be Pim trying to send up the inside. The Red Bull has been pushed wide. I think Abzi's still pretty much in it, but Pim has taken the lead. JD getting up into second place as well as he has a virtual safety car deployed. What a start from the Williams duo there, actually jumping from the second row up to the first row. With the Red Bull that got pushed a little bit wide. A lot of drivers picking up penalties right now, 5 seconds for, I think, 4 of them. All 4 severe collisions. It's not severe, it's the tiniest of taps, and Alpha Strauer is actually out of the race. Clearly messed what happened to him down further back. Didn't have my eyes at the back of the grid this week. But it looks to be a clean start from the front. Anyway, it looked like a little bit of ambitious move from Pim into the first corner. But he did, you know, he was there, I guess. The camera angles, I'm not the best at telling what's happening. But it's not the best of the starts for the Renault guys, as they're 19th and they're currently out of the race. But a second, there's a mistake from the race leader. Pim's lost the car at Pouon. He's going to put his teammate up into the lead. He's going to drop probably down to the back of the grid now. Maybe able to recover. Looks like he's recovered just outside of the top 10. Think he avoided damage there as well, but now it's going to be JD that leads the way. As we have 3 leaders here on the opening lap. That usually spells it's going to be a good race on from here. And of course, different circumstances come into play and all that other stuff. If you have a look, once they get around to the pits, we'll see if anybody picked up any damage on this first lap. There's a couple cars going very closely there. It's going to be Anton and Katterson down to the bus stop chicane. The Ferrari trying it up the inside, the Alfa around the outside, left the inside for the next corner. However, Anton should get better traction around the outside and in fact does move up into 4th place here. But it looks like it's going to be a move possibly from the inside there from Katterson. He absolutely sends it up the inside. Switch back from Anton though, he's wise of that move. As they're down the hill towards a roof, it's going to be the Alfa Romeo that stays ahead for now. As they head down then up over the hill. So you've just seen speeding in the pit lane penalty for Pro Mayhem. Has now 10 seconds of penalties to serve. I'm guessing he picked up damage on that first lap. There's no move yet at the top of the hill from Anton. Didn't quite get close enough. Of course, DRS not enabled just yet. There's actually quite a few cars into the pits. For some reason not being told the pit is. There we go. So there's going to be Pro Mayhem, Tomasz, Rosanowski and Exam into the pit lane. After that first lap, so 4 of them in. Hard tyres for Pro Mayhem. Mediums for Exam. Hards for Tomasz and Rosanowski. I think all 4 of those started on the medium tyres. Maybe no, Exam started on different ones. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from Pro Mayhem at the top of the hill there. There was a very brief yellow flag, but seems to have gone away with it. You see the field spread out quite a bit after that pretty much chaotic first lap, as we always see here. But the top handful of drivers all pretty much together. Actually, Bradley and McGame are very close to head up for Blanchimont now. The Red Bull tries around the outside, runs wide. That will be a warning for him on the track limits record. The Ferrari then trying to defend. I'll have the outside line here for the final corner, but Max getting his elbows out there. And looks to pretty much hold it where he is. However, he will have the outside line for La Source. And in fact, Bradley backs out of that move. And the game up into P6 then. It's a pretty good start from him. I believe he started further down. Where's he started? P9. He's from him. Luchek currently up 8 positions as well. Good start from him. And of course, J. Deagle 4th to 1st on that opening lap. As I think Katterson and Abzi now side by side. Abzi forced to concede that position. The straight line speed of the Alfa simply too strong for him. And that's now up 2 places for the Alfa Romeo. After dispatching a couple of cars in a couple of laps. And the Ferraris may start to close up a little bit here. Anton currently leading his teammate Bradley, which I think I realised yesterday is actually Brad Lloyd, which I've been saying wrong for like 6 months now, but oh well. Until corrected, I will continue going with what I would have been. He's gotten back past there, so I got a feeling up the... Did he ever get past initially? I can't remember. A mistake for someone up top though. It's going to be PXTR running in 2nd place. Has lost the car, broken his wing as well. Of course, nobody can overtake during this brief section of track. As Abzi and Anton actually go side by side through Blanchimont. By the look of things, the Ferrari will have the inside into the bus stop. Abzi trying to hold it around the outside, but can't quite get close enough, so Anton now moves up into P3. Ooh, big sideways moment there from Abzi on the exit of the bus stop. It does just about hold on there. As Bradley's going to come under pressure from McGamer down now as they head towards possibly one of the best runs of tracks in the world. PXCR so into the pit lane, of course, after the spin down at Stavolo. I got a feeling here it's going to be an easy move from McGamer as he's heading up the straight. No DRS for the Ferrari, and in fact he's passed way before the braking zone. Back over to the racing line, brakes normally, moved on, easy as you like. Of course, not every overtake's going to come that easily. Of course, DRS trains, there were a lot of them last night, which hampered my progress a lot. And then of course you have, looks like there's a couple forming here. I think another mistake there from the Red Bull on the exit of the pit lane. Brief yellow flags, may damage this wing again, wait and see. As Bradley doesn't look to quite have the pace stay with the Red Bull, dropping back a little bit at the moment. as Pel de Rogas now catches up to the back of the Alfa Romeo. The Italian Alfa squads there pretty much getting together. Almost all in the same sort of part of track as well. As now they're going to head up towards the bus stop chicane. Not quite close enough for any sort of move this time around. Bradley's a little bit closer to his rival, but again, not close enough. As there's a mistake, Pro Mayhem is the first driver to lose the car at Rouge, or Radion. At least the first of the evening. We think we had a couple last night, and we have a second virtual safety car here on lap 5. A couple of cars very quick to react and getting into the pit lane. I think Tim was the first and in fact the only of the drivers. Now he's getting a free pit stop here. He has reacted very quickly, and it's really going to help him out as he's going to go from the the soft tyres over to the medium compound. Another driver in as well, that's Connor further back, going to get off medium tyres. So wait and see what happens. Did the other Red Bull get damage when he spun at the pit lane? No, he didn't. So he's taking those hard tyres to the end of the race. Not sure why they didn't go for mediums. I think they would have made it easily. Head back up to the top. But a lot of sort of congestion, as I think we've just gone green as Rezanowski picks up a drive-through penalty. Already running last of all, and that's really rubbing salt into the wounds. But I guess the will to go on here comes from the fact that if you finish this race and you're last, you get pole for the sprint race. So of course that's going to help you out massively. One bad race to a potential good race. The annoying thing with me this season, I've pretty much always finished bang in the middle, so then I start bang in the middle. Really annoying, but we'll get over it. As Rezanowski now comes into the pit lane to serve that drive-through. We have quite an interesting battle here from sort of P3 down to I think sort of 6th, almost in this one camera shot here. So McGamer in P5, they're just about clinging on to the RS of Abzi. Bradley as well, just outside the DRS. We'll look to just try and break that now. Get just under that 1 second. Is this a mistake? No, there wasn't. I don't know what I saw then. I think somebody lit up the race a little bit, but that was about it. You're like someone flying into the wall. Guess I just saw a shadow. It's going to get very tasty now as down the straight they go. Down the hill. Flip the car left and then right up over the hill, completely flat in these cars. DRS will be open now. He's burning a lot of his battery. Anton, there's a little bit less battery at the moment than that Ferrari. As they get up to the top of the hill and there's nothing coming there. A little bit too far back for now. Behind them as well, nothing really happening. As James and Harmon, no, they're the same person, James and Kia. Very close now as they get very close indeed. Heading up the hill, Kia getting the move done pretty much as they activate DRS. So he pretty much got slingshotted from the top of the hill at Radion. It looks like they still have that pretty much, not quite as train-like as you'll want to see. It looks like a lot of drivers are going to be missing this lap. You can see that little blue spanner down in that bottom right corner. How many of them were at the undercut? I think a lot of us learnt last night. It's very powerful here. I think Connor's pitted for fresh hards, Pim onto the mediums. Also did that under the virtual safety car. And I got a feeling Pim might be able to shoot himself back up the order a little bit as long as the pit stops for all the front guys happen in green conditions. Because now as they head into the bus stop, anyone going to pit? Yes, Anton pulls off into the pit lane. A little bit of a dink on the wall. Possibly one of the most awkward pit entries ever. It looks like Anton's the only one that's going to pit at the end of lap 6. Everyone out waiting at least one more lap. May even wait for a full-on safety car. Of course, I think the tyres will last another sort of 2 laps before imminent death on worn soft tyres. Head up to Lecom once again. Gamer not quite close enough now to challenge the back of Abzi. To look further down, looks like James and Anton very close as well. A so mistake from Anton there, is going very slowly. At the top of Radion. He clipped the wall, doesn't look like it, so just maybe James went around the outside of him at Rouge. If he did, that's a very impressive move, and Connor's crashed. At Rouge did the same in qualifying. Another mistake in this season, one who's going to definitely want to forget, as the Red Bull probably had a heart attack. As he comes over the hill just to see a Haas lying sideways. No safety cars or anything caused by that, however, as Peldoragus now looks to capitalise on Lucek. As they head down now across, I think this is the lowest part of the circuit. As they start one elevation before they drop back down and they head up to the highest point of the circuit. For another very slow descent back down, but Anton looks to have gained his composure and is right on the back of the racing point now as they exit out towards Blanchimont. Top little leaders now into the pit lane, and apart from McGamer, who decides to do one more lap. Anton looks to a little bit more speed here as they get out of Blanchimont. The racing point runs a little bit wide, but does defend the inside line. Anton then swoops all the way around the outside. Like a very easy move there. Probably has a lot more grip on those tyres right now. Of course, they're brand new. Actually, where is Anton going to feed out with the front guys? Just as he comes round Lassalle. Amsey has cleared him by quite a bit. So Amsey's got the overcut there by the look of things. Now leads his teammate as well by 7 tenths. Of course, Kia yet to make a pit stop. And JD is the highest of the current pitters. So once again, looks to be... Don't know if the race is quite in his hands. It could well be. I'm not entirely sure how long a pit stop takes here. If you look at the current gap, of course he is 11 seconds back. I'm pretty sure a pit stop takes more than 10 seconds. So JD will be resuming the lead. Very briefly. As it does catch up to the back of Mikey, of course, once again it's been the same situation we have with Anton, where the tyre difference is going to be quite significant. Of course, they are in the same compound. The 7 lap Thrasher mediums actually does more than you would think. As the accident now, the run up towards Blanchimont once again. And looks like JD's already got the move done. Going to the inside of Blanchimont, but I think Mikey has already backed out of that one. We'll just follow his rival for now. We'll try and get a little bit of a tow, a little bit moving then as he head into the braking. But I don't believe there's any movements after braking had happened. As Adam and Abzi are also very close. Adam yet to make a pit stop, changes that now. As he brings his black silver arrow into the pit lane. I guess for Mercedes, technically the black arrows last season, as their silverness had disappeared from the car. McGamer also in the pit lane, he's right there as well. P6, he's just ahead of Kia. I think McGamer's also jumped Anton here, so Anton lost a lot of time somewhere. As side by side up the hill, McGamer and Kia. Red Bull versus McLaren. I think both drivers forced the car at one segment of the corner each. But McGamer does hold on to P6. Now Anton's going to try and make a move here. He darts to the inside. Up at Lecom. And makes the move stick there. Nice move from the Ferrari driver. Also further up now, the battle for the podium. At least for now as it currently stands. Just Mikey catching up to the back of JD. I'm going to guess that's him just hanging on after the Williams got past him a lap or so ago. Catterton currently net P2, Absy P3. Then McGamer and Anton 4th and 5th as it currently stands, but JD picks up a time penalty that could cost him at the end of the race. He's going to need a 3-second gap over Catterton, as he doesn't currently have. Gap currently about 2.5 seconds between those two. However, this battle here looks to get interesting now as you have Abzi ahead of McGamer and Anton. Bradley as well catching onto the back of Kia ever so slightly. Bradley himself has Lucek on the back of him as Him's got past the position there. We're going to keep this action on the screen though. As into the bus stop there, McGamer gets past Abzi. The McLaren going very deep indeed. and in fact may come under threat here to Anton behind him. Into the pit lane this time around goes Mikey for the Alpha Tauri. The second pit stop their team is forced to make, and these are the soft tyres. I would say it's probably a little bit too early. We'll see what he can do. He's going to have a lot of grip for the next 6 laps guaranteed, as the tyres will start to fade away then. But as he gets past McGamer up the Kemmel straight now as they head up towards the Cum. So the McLaren resumes that net podium. We're just waiting on Pelderargus to come into the pit lane. So expect him in the next 5 laps maximum. To get the most out of those soft tyres. As we all see what everybody is able to do. As this is actually as I said a couple of times now, it's a very tight battle, but Lucek's out of the race. He has crashed on the exit of Bruxelles. Have a look at things, and we have a third virtual safety car. To Bernd Mailander, not quite getting the call up he may have wanted here today. His virtual compatriot has taken the wheel 3 times now. As we approach halfway distance here. That's now 3 out of the race. Resnowski still for provisional pole for the sprint race. Of course, still a lot to go. We get a safety car, then everything's going to change. And does Pelderargus take the opportunity to pit for soft tyres? He does not. He stays out on those worn mediums. Being hunted down pretty quickly now by JD in second. Quick update on all the penalties that's currently going on. We have 3 seconds for JD in second. McGamer, who is in 5th. Kia P7. James Harmon down there in P10. PXTR also in 3 seconds. That's all of those. 5 seconds for Tomasz and 6 seconds for Connor. We are now back to racing. As we head up the hill. Once again with our net leader. We'll go a bit further down the field, however, to resume this battle here for what is still the provisional net podium. I guess that's the thing you would call it. As this trio of drivers now heading through the highest point of the circuit. Anton looked to have a better run there on the exit of Le Com. I think that right-hander may actually have a separate name. As we head down through Speaker's Corner. I believe that's corner's name because it's the only corner you could see from the commentary box. Like 20 odd years ago. It's apparently the one corner you can see. Everything else covered by trees. To resume this battle. It looks to be actually the only action on the track right now. I can currently see this, like actually the second Red Bull is close to the back of Adam. They're currently just exiting Speaker's Corner. So we look now, McGamer getting very close to the back of that McLaren, using a little bit of his battery. Has maybe a little bit less than he would have wanted, but of course I guess everybody has their own run plans when it comes to their battery usage. As now it's Amsey coming under the pressure in this trio. Red Bull losing the back end just a little bit there on the exit of the infamous bus stop chicane. Pretty much every corner at this track is infamous. Possibly. A lot of people, some people don't like this track. I honestly can't see how. At least for me personally, this is possibly the best track F1 go to. Until of course we go back to the Nordschleife, but I don't see that happening for a very long time. We're up the hill once again. We are now over half race distance. And the battle still continues. No position changes for a good couple laps now. And Pelderargus still leading the way, but that gap I think is coming down still. I think it was 3 seconds just now, wasn't it? Unless it was 2 seconds still and the gap was staying the same. I don't actually know. So I've forgotten. However, it's Catterton still in that net P2. And of course this battle you're watching on screen is for the net P3. So the final step on the podium, of course, once Pelderargus pits. Which could, I guess, once again in the next 3 laps, I would assume. I can just see now that gap is definitely coming down. So it must have been 3 seconds at the end of the previous VSC. Once again, looks like no position change is going to take place just here. Push it over to the tyres. See, here has yet to make. Actually, no, that's not going to help us. This one here. Actually, there's quite a few drivers yet to make a pit stop. It's not just Pelderagos who leads the way, it's also Kia in that second McLaren in P7. As actually, Bradley's now closing up to him massively. They're also side by side on the exit at the bus stop. Both drivers there getting very close. The Ferrari of the DRS, however, down towards La Source. I think he's just had to send it up the inside. The Ferrari's definitely alongside there. And this also the enticing Pim just behind. We're running with that Williams driver, the third car in this train of 3. And see if anything happens this time around as they head up over the hill. Keep an eye on that battle just ahead of sight, nothing changing just yet. And however here, now Bradley going to the inside of Kia up towards the hill. And at the end of the day, it's a pretty easy move for the Ferrari, but Kia does try and fight it around the outside. But Bradley's going to have that position. Pim trying to sneak up the inside as well. And Kish around the outside. Bradley's backed out of that one massively. However, gets better drive mid-corner. We're going to go off-board now, probably get a better camera angle. As this freeway battle gets very intense. A lot better than the other freeway battle we were watching. Action is actually taking place here. So they'll head down. It's a little bit wide from Kia. Then, of course, he had to make a pit stop. His tyres will almost be screaming. And I think Connor's just crashed into the pit wall. I'm not too sure. We haven't cut over to him. But from the yellow, he may have just spun. Be stationary where he was. As now this battle for P7 takes place. Pelderagos into the pit lane then. So he's going to have a number of laps to do on those soft tyres. Less than, of course, other people. And he's going to be very quick at the end of this race. So side by side into the bus stop chicane for the second lap running. As Kia pulls off into the pit lane. Easy move for Bradley then in the end made by, of course, the McLaren pulling off. But now with that Williams right on the back of the Ferrari as he head into turn 1. Pretty much the same as last season. Ferrari versus Williams at the front of the field. Williams continuing their very impressive pace. And of course Ferrari are not too far behind them in the standings. But something this F2 tier just seems to like a lot is the white car and the red car properly going at it for multiple laps. And as Bradley conceded the position, let Pim go. As of course, there's not too much purpose in fighting it. Someone gets that far alongside you, I guess you can fight it, but you'll lose time, and then all the other stuff comes into play and all that. Plus they have Pelderagos right behind them on brand new, fresh, soft tyres. As I said just now, he's going to be very quick at this stage of the race. Possibly 6, 7, 8 laps of pure pace is going to come out of the Alfa Romeo. As Connor's been given a time penalty now for ignoring blue flags. I think he's just ahead of this train. Oh, there he is there. P17 for the Haas. He's right in front of the battle for P6 right now. He's going to have to get out of the way at some point. But Pim has dropped Bradley actually by 1.5 seconds already. Pelderagos behind him. As we're going to be the next car to properly catch up to this little battle here. We catch back up to the battle for what is actually now P3. You can see the 3 cars. Nothing's pretty much changed with them. They're still running in the same order. Absy from the gamer, from Anton. It looks like Connor's let somebody go. He's let Pim go past there. As Pelderagos tries to move up the inside into La Source. But nothing quite coming off for him there. As they head down the hill once again. Probably a move here once again. I'm watching the map, see if anything happens in that battle for P3. Once again, nothing happens. I've got a feeling Rezanos are going to be eager to get past the Ferrari here as they head up the hill. Connor's actually re-overtaken Pim. And, well, it's not even the battle for P6, it's 6th and 17th going at it. And Rezanos also gets past the Ferrari there. With a very textbook move, I would assume. With a better grip, could have broken later. and that's what he did. As Pim continues his battle with blue flags here. This battle, he's hoping he can get away from the guys behind him. He'll know Peldoragus is on brand new soft tyres. Maybe a little bit of fear coming through the Williams as the Haas, I don't say blocks him, but he don't want to be distracted by him, because I believe for him, Connor is ghosted. I mean, a full-on safety car here. Gamer has crashed. The battle for P3 gets broken up by a mistake from the Red Bull driver. And in fact, he's right in the middle of the track. Connor just straight line straight into him. That's not what he would have wanted there. I don't know. I'm not sure how he didn't see the stricken Red Bull in the middle of the track, but that's a wing broken. And the result for Red Bull that looked so strong comes to an end there, with Anton getting promoted up. And looks like everybody's going to dive into the pit lane. Peldoragus, of course, brand new tyres, pitted not too long ago, is going to make up all of these places and is now in P3. So the alternate strategy, he would have possibly got up into the top 5, maybe even higher. But now he's just P3 because of the safety car. So that's going to help him absolutely massively. Of course, he's led most of this race. He's led, from what we've had, Peldoragus has led half of the race so far. Because the top 2 did just pit for brand new soft tyres. I'll get that up on the screen for you. You can see as McGamer is our 4th retirement of the evening. Everybody pitting for brand new softs. I believe Tomasz will as well. So will Exam and Rizanovsky, I would assume. I've just got to find where in the train is Connor. Is he ahead of James? Yes, he is. Connor's race is pretty much over at this point. Of course, being a lap down, you don't get that back. Under the safety car, you have to just wait. Back up, so yeah, everybody's in for the brand new soft tyres. So the advantage Peldoragus would have had has now been eliminated. However, he now has track position, and it's an Alfa Romeo 2-3. That is going to help them severely in the standings. Take a quick break from the action just to remind you, if you are enjoying the stream or you enjoy the league in general, do hit that bright red subscribe button. It helps everybody here at CSGB out massively. So to leave a like on the stream if you're enjoying it, or if you want to save your likes for the Monday streams of F1, go for it, because they have fancy overlays, as Connor's decided to overtake everybody here. That's not allowed in the rules, but he will be able to get a lap back here, and he's been disqualified from the session for overtaking the safety car, because that's what happens in this game. Overtaking a Bernd Meyerlander's car is not allowed, for he is superior to everybody. That's what I was saying then. If you want to save your likes for Monday streams, go for it. Of course, they're presented a lot better. They have fancy overlays because I believe they're streamed from PC, so you can add all that stuff in. Whereas I don't have that, so you get what you're given. Also, feel free to hit that notification bell as well, so you're notified whenever we go live here on CSGB. And as you can just remember that it's Mondays and Tuesdays at 7 PM UK time, which I believe is 8 PM Central European time. And if you want to go all the way out there, it is 2 PM like in Florida and New York, which is Eastern Standard Time. So that's all the time zones, unless you're in Australia, which in case the time zone there is, like, I believe Melbourne and like Bathurst and all that, and Sydney, they are 9 hours ahead. So maths. Yeah. Other times you can catch this, of course, Mondays and Tuesdays. Same every week. I believe we have a week off coming soon. I'm not entirely sure which week it is. It might be after this week actually, because this is round 5 of... Have a quick look actually. Calendar. So, I know we have one more race next week and then we have a week off. Okay, so one race next week, of course 11 rounds here this season. For the USA Grand Prix, United States of America, of course the Circuit of America is in Austin, Texas, COTA. I don't know what the part of COTA is that the part of Austin that the track's in? I don't actually know. It's all I can assume really. Yeah, that'll be next week, and then we have a week off before we return to the Red Bull Ring in Austria on the 23rd of February. Well, actually, not the 23rd, 22nd will be the start of the week. So, anything happened in Discord? I believe we are going racing this lap. Yes, we are. So we'll stay with the leader, as I have been doing anyway. Anything happening? Nope. Cool. No drama. So, okay, a white Magnum has taken Max Payne away. I guess I can't blame you for that. White Magnums are awesome. We should be starting down towards the back in the next race as well, which is a shame, as it's not a full reverse as it was last season. We now wait to get back underway. There's going to be 5 laps to the end of the race, I want to say. As JD gets the field back underway, his safety car has pulled back into the pit lane. And JD leads the way from an Alfa Romeo 2-3. McLaren is all looking very strong now. Abzi and Kia 4th and 6th respectively. However, it is a clean restart from the front 2. I'm going to head up over the hill. Looks like a little bit underfueled there for the Alfa Romeo, despite having a safety car just now. So he must have been really underfueled at the start of that safety car to still be underfueled now. Poderaga's holding on to P3 for now, as I believe the whole field's getting through pretty much unscathed. But side by side between Adam and James there, but they both get through unscathed. There's contact there with PXCR, a little bit of contact, wing broken for the second time in this race now. And his luck, despite putting in a really good pole lap, is now dropping down the field for the second time in this race, as now Rosanovsky gets back past him. Seen James as well came off badly there, not sharpened with him. Unless it was Tomasz who was going side by side with Adam. It could well have been if that did happen by mistake. We're back up now because the gaps are closer at the front unless you actually examine Tomasz. Those two very close together, but that gap now opening up a little bit. There's always a pretty chaotic restart here, as Bern Mylander finally gets a match. Now around the outside, Bradley's going to try on his rival in the bright orange car. And they pretty easy moves there. I don't believe any driver ran wide. Probably should have stayed off board camera then so we could actually see. But I believe that would have been a clean move. Now Ferrari up into 5th and 6th. McLaren fall to 4th and 7th. As the Rebel back into the pit lane for the 3rd time, I think. Well, a very quick check. I think it's the 3rd. I don't know when it updates. As Abzi and Poderaka side by side now up the hill. The McLaren driver getting back up into P3 then. Spent a lot of his race sort of in this position, of course, previously battling with Anton and McGamer. But of course that mistake from the Red Bull driver brought out our most recent full course caution. As Anton is the next driver to possibly have a look at the Alfa Romeo. As that second McLaren now taking the 3-second time penalty. Once again, it does look like the F2 guys are doing better on pens than we did on a Monday. Of course, I I think actually I did watch a stream earlier. I can't actually remember what the pens were looking like, but it looks like there's less here. But of course, still 4 laps to go, or 3.5 technically. Through Blanchimont once again. It's like Kia has very much company there as he tries around the outside of him. Of course, very good defensive driving from the McLaren there. Pim trying to sneak it up the inside. Kia having absolutely none of that. Hold on to P7 for now, but looks like the Williams may have had a better exit on the exit of the bus stop. And we'll possibly try something now. In fact, that is already passed before they break for turn 1. The action has started to back up a little bit more. Bradley a little bit by himself right now. As Anton once again finds himself in the middle of a train and he's off into the wall. Out of the race goes the Ferrari. On a race that was looking so strong for him. He's ended up losing the car. Dirty air. Up, ready on. And is out of this race to make it 6 retirements now. Real shame for the Scuderia. We're looking very strong here today. Bradley is now the one prancing horse that will take us to the end of the race, hopefully. And Anton has crashed without me jinxing him, which is very rare. And I normally end up jinxing him or giving him the commentator's curse. But that honestly just looked like dirty air. He washed a little bit back end, went nope, and into the wall goes the Scuderia. Poderagas, it's a little bit of a break now, would have possibly come under threat then up the hill from Anton, but that little bit of pressure has been taken off the shoulders. There's now actually second Ferrari. He was going to try and put pressure on to take that P4 away from the Alfa Romeo. Of course, Pim looking very quick behind him, Kia as well. And there's quite a quick good battle here between 3 Mercedes powered cars. Of course, 2 of them being the works car themselves, but Thomas sandwiched between the 2 black arrows. Or the black silver arrows, I guess. There's a little bit squirmy down the exit, however these guys are catching just Mikey pretty quickly. Making it a 4-way fight. It's up the inside, there goes Exam on Tomasz. The Mercedes drivers making it 9th and 10th, there's now double points for them. As it looks like Abzi is going to make a move here for P2. He's right up tucked behind the diffuser of the Alfa Romeo, darts to the outside and hooks it around the outside as well. Very good move from Abzi. Which ambushed the leader there, showing why he is topping the standings as it currently stands. JD, however, has just decided to dip, as always. We saw this in Russia, very impressive driving from the Williams driver. And he seems to be recreating that sort of speed here in Belgium. As Pim looks to catch up to the back of that sort of top 5 group, we look backwards here now. Adam's gotten past just Mikey further down. As Exam is going to be the next car to make the move on the AlphaTauri. The recent safety car as well, I say recent, we've had a couple laps now without it. Looks to have saved Mikey, however as the 2 drivers get very close into 5th, but a little bit of contact maybe. The AlphaTauri there just about holding on to his car, pointing in the straight line. And it's now 8th and 9th for the 2 Mercedes drivers. Tomasz is going to be the next car to have a look at that AlphaTauri, but it's just shot back a little bit, and as I say that, he's into the wall. Front wing has been broken on the Pink Panther. That's another driver being caught out at that corner. I believe that makes it just 2 of them there now, of course, with Anton losing it elsewhere. And it is quite a tricky corner, especially if you're in the dirty air of someone. It is very easy to wash wide there. Clever curb or just lose the back end in general. As we now head on to the final lap of the race, the Mercedes duo are the closest on track. Now, will they settle for their positions, or are they gonna implement team orders, or are they still gonna fight to the absolute nail here with just Mikey right up behind them? Of course, maybe looking to try and capitalise on a better position here. A little bit of weaving, it's not there's any team orders here. As up the inside goes Exam, no team orders here at Mercedes. As they swoop now down towards Bruxelles. Luckily they didn't lose too much time in that little bit of a battle. If they had made contact there, they would have been kicking themselves for the next well, 20 minutes really until the sprint race starts. Just down the hill they go once again. It's like even these guys have spread out a little bit hard with just Mikey just behind now. Of course, going to try and put pressure on that Mercedes. Not sure if anything's going to be done, but we look back up now towards the front. As JD heads through Blanchimont, he's had to push here a lot. He has that penalty, of course. Amsley does not have a penalty. If JD cannot find a 10th here, it will be the McLaren winning a race here. However, it looks like he's done enough as he crosses the line. We wait in anticipation. Who's going to win this race? It will be Abzi by 78 thousandths of a second. Puts his McLaren on the top step of the podium, with Kyle Gaddison rounding out the top three. Look backwards, then looks like a couple of other drivers. Kia's dropped massively on penalties. And it will be PXTR on pole as long as he can get to the end of the lap. Into the next race. Through the final corner then goes the Red Bull, put it on pole. A little bit of donuts to celebrate, I guess, reverse grid pole as he crosses the line. I do remember last night Noah and Jay Wizzy. I know Mr. Ubo missed it, but Noah and Jay Wizzy were actually fighting for that reverse grid pole by spinning at the end of the lap. They were just doing donuts. And of course, the reverse grid pole eventually going to Jay Wizzy last night. But it will be 2 poles then in one night for the Red Bull. It's not what you want, but that is unfortunately something happened. Of course, had a broken wing on a couple of occasions, getting caught out in various situations. As it is the McLaren taking what I think is his second win of the season. I will have a very quick look. That one won't help me. That one there. Have a very quick look. Abzi has now won, 2 races, both in the sprint as well. And he's going to extend his lead. Actually, no, there's 2 races prior. So this is race number 3 for the McLaren driver. My mistake. I forgot that the overview isn't live timing. But it is, as I've mentioned many times now, Abzi taking the win here in Belgium ahead of JD. Gaddison taking the final step on the podium. Helder Ragus is going to be P4 ahead of Bradley and Pim, so another good result for Williams there, finishing 2nd and 6th respectively. Mercedes as well, a decent result, finishing 7th and 8th ahead of just Mikey, and Rizanowski getting the final point in P10. Outside of our top point scoring group, then we have Kia in P11 who got dropped down on penalties. Tomasz in P12 ahead of James Harmon and PXTR, who will get a reverse grid pole for the sprint race. The retirements then are Anton, who is actually classified despite crashing, McGamer, Lucek, Pro Mayhem, Alpha Shroud and Connor getting disqualified for trying to assert dominance over Bernd Mailander. That doesn't happen. Very interesting sprint race there, as I'm sure, well, as you would have seen, because it's on your screen. A lot of action. Very, very big shame for a couple of drivers there. They were on for very good results. And unfortunately couldn't quite make it to the end of the race. It would have been a good result. We have, as usual, 15 minutes now to get the next race sorted. Also 15 minutes of me essentially waffling. As I've just seen a clip from Pro Mayhem, he said it in the chat as well. He did have a racing point on top of him. I was trying to figure out what on earth he meant, but as I saw there, so he said, after having a racing point on my head, I think I'll be happy starting at the back. And I read that. I don't think I said it out loud, but I was like, what? Please watch the footage. Okay, I'll watch it. Obviously, you won't see it on stream. As I've got to get the lobby set up. Give me a minute, Jake. I will look at it. That should all be fine. Track. We are at Spa. That one. I got to try and invite everybody. Honestly, this job it doesn't pay enough. Absolutely Adam, Anton, Kia, Gamer, Exam, Alpha. That one. I guess the good thing is you can't see my screen for this bit because you pretty much just see Panic. I need to get my custom list sorted for next week as well because they're a mess, in all honesty. Is that everybody I need to invite? I think it is. That one, that one, that one. Cool, that should be them. We'll send Ben an invite as well. So you can get back. And there's probably a much quicker way of inviting everybody that I just don't know of. But oh well. Gonna make sure I don't invite anybody who's not racing. So the guys that dropped out for tonight. Because that'll be awkward if they join, won't it? Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm... Surely there's no one that struggles at inviting people as much as I do. Like, it shouldn't be this difficult. I'm just incompetent, I guess. Nope, nope, Those ones. Plus you. Just those ones, and we'll add Ben to this group as well. Now it's 2 invites each. And now we've got to do that one more time. Once the invites are done, have a quick look in the chat whilst I get the grid sorted. And then we'll be good to go. And then the reserves as well. 1, 2, 3. Just those 3. I think that's 3 invites each. I believe I have the grid as well. There I do. So just get me out of the way because that's just going to annoy me otherwise. Now we have the bit where you guys get to watch me struggling to read and then put someone in a place. Which is probably quite entertaining for you. Oh, he's already in the right place. Probably easy for me if I read multiple names at once and then put them in position, instead of looking at one, finding them, put them in place. Oh well, I like to make my life extremely difficult. I pretty much specialise in it, in fact. Who's up here that shouldn't be? I think I've put someone... It says Bradley P10, I've got him in P11. Kia's supposed to be here? Yes, he is. Oh, Anton's up here. Get him out of the way. Sorry, Anton. Gotta get to here. We got Belderagus. Too high. That one there. Again, get me out of the way. Patterson is where? Fine, Beldy. One more. There we go. JD. Absy. And then the non-finishers. Anton, of course, heading those guys. McGamer. Lucek. For Mayhem. Shroud. And then to be continued. Cool. Grid is all done. Have a quick look in the Discord chat. Anybody think anything going on here? We have a couple of self-proclaimed professional bottle jobs. Cool. Right then, let's watch this clip that I've been told to watch. Jake, this better be a good clip if I watch this. If it's not, I will be disappointed. It's as simple as that. We haven't on lap 1 as well. Oh, your race did not go well, did it? Okay, oh, so you get tagged by someone. Oh, okay, yeah, you did have... Oh, ah. You got a 5-second penalty for being mounted. That is a new one. That is honestly, that's a new one. I have not seen that before, Cody's. Good job. Yeah, that takes skill. To be given a penalty for quite simply being attacked. I think that's what happened there. Oh, press the right buttons. Must have forgot anything that I missed in chat. Yeah, pole to last. That is a really good challenge. In fact, I've nearly managed it. I believe Vietnam last season. It's a race I hate bringing up, but I do it a lot just because I find it quite funny now. I was on pole for both races because I'm just that talented. But yeah, of course, back last season we had it so everyone was reversed even if you crashed. I crashed about 20 metres from the line about to win the race and the championship. But then I got reverse grid pole. So, yeah. It's easily done, pole to last. Well, at least you've joined me. I think we are the only two. It's a very exclusive club. There may be a couple others as well that I just don't remember. But it's definitely just at least the two of us in the very infamous group. Oh, but seeing I'm being spammed. And so we have no takers on the 20th seat. So we're going to be going with 19 in, I think, like 3 minutes time. 50 minutes are absolutely shot by, probably because I struggle with grid setting. Because I'm professional like that. Got hit space and then nobody's going to be joining us. So people in the chat, how's it going? Tell me how your day's been. Or if anybody has like any really bad jokes that you want to share, because I feel like bad jokes are good jokes because of how bad they are. Like you can't just have an average like bad joke. It has to be like a really bad joke for it to be a good joke. For a joke to pick his car. Oh, that's a sad announcement. I won't read it on the stream because I'll probably get told off for it. Oh, that sucks. So we're going to be going with just the 19. Started pole, finished last. Just to start pole. Yeah, that is a good strat. As I said, you've joined the exclusive club, which I think is just me and you, of starting on pole, and then being on pole again for the sprint race because of we're bottle jobs. Although I think my story's better, as I said just now. But yeah, it's a good strat, you know. I think we're the only two people that can say we've had pole in both races. As I said, there may be more that I don't know of, but off the top of my head, we're the only two. So, very exclusive club. Let's hope nobody else joins us, because to be fair, it's not the best of strats. You start on pole, you want to win. But... Quick look through here, anything important? Nope, good. Is anybody joining us? Doesn't look like it. Looks like I'm going to be running with one less driver for the sprint race, which I guess limits the chaos a little bit because these races are normally very chaotic. We'll see if anybody takes that seat. I don't think they have long to join now. They've got, in fact, I think we're just going to be going now. Yep. Confirmation we are going. I can't tell anyone we're going, I don't think. Don't believe I have the power to do that. No, it does say an announcement, so cool. You're going to be heading on into the race. We'll get the right chats up on my laptop just so I can see if anybody's going to be waffling, which is my job. You're not allowed to waffle. Let's prepare now for 11 laps of chaos. If it's anything like last night, this is going to be a DRS train for pretty much the entire race, if I remember correctly. Of course, we'll see how it goes. We're running through the grid order now, might as well. Give me 2 seconds, I'll get it up. So for the sprint race here, for the second part of tonight's race, we have PXTR on pole, of course. As mentioned a couple of times during the break, he has joined the very exclusive club, I think of 2. Getting 2 poles in one evening. It's like, no, that's just a glitch on my screen, never mind. It's going to be James Harmon in the Racing Point starting second, ahead of Tomasz in the other Racing Point starting P3. Keir in the McLaren starts 4th, ahead of Rusanowski, Mikey, Adam, Exam, Pim and Bradley. Rounding out the top 10. Of course, you can start on whatever tyres you want, so that really doesn't matter. I guess you're at the top because you didn't do as well as you would have wanted in the feature race. Outside of the top 10, then we have Podel Raga starting P11. Ahead of Kay Caddison, JD and Abzi, who of course won the feature race just now, starting P14th. And there's a group of drivers, all cars that unfortunately didn't make it the full 22 laps last time out. Anton, who of course was classified last time with 3 laps down after losing the car at Eau Rouge, of course got pretty much killed by dirty air. It's one of the worst feelings when that happens. We have McGamer in P16 then, of course, was in that battle with Anton earlier on, as long with Abzi for P3 at the time. Another driver who lost the car at a point. Behind them we have Lucek in 17th. I don't actually remember. Oh no, he crashed at the exit of Brussels. I remember that one. We're starting P17. Not sure how he crashed. If he lost the car, it is a very tricky section of track. Mayhem will start 18th after being mounted by a Racing Point in the last race, and I think he crashed at Radion as well, if I remember correctly. And then Alpha Shroud, who unfortunately didn't make it to turn 2 last time out, we're starting P19 down at the back of the grid. Only 19 drivers here. for the sprint race. I always get those two mixed up. I have absolutely no idea how. As we're going to be getting ready now. Where's Anton's name? There it is, up, almost at the top. Ah, I've just seen a message. Dry, then very wet. This is going to get very interesting very quickly. If what Matt Gamer has told me is true. It's going to be very similar to, I guess, what we had last season in F2 at Belgium. And I think actually the F1 Belgium sprint race had exactly the same conditions, in which it started dry and then it was raining at the end of lap 1. But we'll see what happens then. The sky looks nice and clear at the moment. As the Rebel driver gets us underway for the formation lap for the second time this evening. As soon as I can change the camera I will. I don't like the onboard camera for the formation lap because it looks tardy. I'll get the on-screen stuff up as well. You think I'd do this like naturally by now, wouldn't you? I've been doing this long enough. Tyres is something we can have a look at. And I guess that confirms the rain. All 19 drivers are going to be starting on these soft compounder tyres for the sprint race. Which pretty much confirms rain in now. Essentially. As you head around. Considering it's very wet, that pretty much tells me, knowing this game, it will be wet by the end of lap 2. Maybe the end of lap 3 if they're lucky. Yeah, well, that's when the rain will start. They may not have to pit for inters for a couple of laps. And I don't think anybody will go for full wets. But I could be horribly wrong, of course, because what's the fun in being right? The last little check of messages across Discord and all that. And so we are good to go then. I don't know entirely know what's happened. We seem to have two separate fields. We have these front guys, who are exiting Stavolo, and then we have the second group, which are only just coming through the pith path. Don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody spun and just nobody overtook. Or if someone spins, you are allowed to overtake them. I don't know what happened, of course. I was looking at Discord very briefly. As predicted strategy, it's saying us soft medium or soft hard. I don't think that's gonna happen. As the drivers now will, at least the first batch of drivers anyway, pull up onto the grid. They're going to be waiting here for quite a while. So we go actually to the driver at the back, only just coming from Blanchemont now. Also, quite a nice helmet to match car livery. I used to do this, then I got bored. Now I run a nice pink, black and white helmet because I'm cool. Yeah, I used to have a different helmet for every different car that I drove. Let's get back up to pole. This is the best camera angle we have right now. So not the most helpful. As there we go. Don't bother getting hyped up because we ain't going anywhere just yet. Wonder if actually would it be better if... Nah, it doesn't look very good. Just trying to figure out the best place to watch to start from because I can't tell anything from this camera angle, but we are underway for the sprint race here in Belgium. And it looks to be a good start from the Red Bull on pole. Does cover off any sort of threat into turn 1. As his curlist followed by the Racing Points. One of them going very wide. That's James Harmon all the way off, using all the runoff possible. Rejoins just behind his teammate, side by side with the McLaren of Kia as they head down to Rouge. Any of them going to back out? Looks like the Racing Point did. Very smart there. Do not go side by side through there on the first lap, as it doesn't normally end well as they head now all the way up to the top of the hill. We're going to be back. Won't go to first. Actually, Thomas is catching him very quickly now as they head up the Kemmel Straight. And as they break now for Lecom, doesn't look like there's any changes. The Ferrari side by side I caught very briefly then. So Pro-Mayhem got off the line a little bit poorly there. May have been caught out by the lights or something. Yellow flag somewhere. Somebody spun on the exit of Lecom. There's like 4 cars by the way up there. I'm not too sure what's happened. Have a look at this briefly. The virtual safety car is deployed, and there are 4 cars in the wall. Luchek, Alpha Shroud, Abzi, and Pelderagus all not getting through lap 1 unscathed. And I got a feeling that these guys' race is over just simply because if the rain is due, and it's not raining yet, they're going to have to make 2 stops this race. It looks like Pro Mayhem somehow got through that carnage. It wouldn't have been too far ahead of him if the rain got caught up in it. Of course, he was P18 at the time. Of course, we will see. Maybe one of them avoided damage as well. I'm not entirely sure. Looks like Pelderagus may have avoided damage. Of course, the game cameras being useless. No, of course, damage, I think, for all 4 of them. Into the bus stop, Kier nearly getting brake checked there by the racing point ahead of him. We're seeing James dropping down to P5, so Exam caught him somewhere. As we are now back to racing, Rizanowski's got a good run there on the exit of the bus stop chicane onto James Harmon in that racing point as they head into turn 1. Yellow flag further back. I think looks like Luchek's been caught out. Maybe by the lack of front wing he had as Poderagus comes into the pit lane, leading that group of 4 cars. So a good restart there from the Red Bull as now Kia is going to put pressure onto the racing point. There's all behind him, Exam making put pressure as well onto the McLaren. Almost a freeway scrap here once again, as we saw so frequently last time out, but these 3 is to the top of the hill without changing positions. Further behind them, Rizanowski holding on to P5. As all of these guys now get through. Looks like nice and cleanly. Adam as well getting past. James Harmon has actually dropped down a couple more places. Let's try from there. Maybe went really deep into Bruxelles. Lost a couple more places there to Adam and Pim. And it looks like maybe another driver trying to get past him. Here is JD. Looks to have a look up the inside as Luchek's crashed at Radion. James trying to hold on. And we have a safety car here in Belgium. Lap 2 of 11. And we have our second full course caution of the race. Bernd Mylander getting time to shine this time around. Nice and early on. You see there, JD did make the move through the pit path. As Luchek leaves the session, not too sure if that's a rage quit or a disconnect. We'll find out in a couple of minutes if he rejoins or not. I have a slight feeling here that James may have forgotten a setup, because he started P2, got caught out by his teammate into turn 1, ran wide, got overtaken by Kia through turn 2 at Aru. Luchek has rejoined. It was just a disconnect. And then Exam caught him somewhere. Rizanowski got past him on the VSC restart. And then Adam, Pim and JD all getting past him on lap 2. As a couple of drivers have come into the pit lane, that is Pro Mayhem and Bradley. Not too sure what they're going for there. Of course, the rain is scheduled. I don't actually know if the rain is scheduled. The clouds do look to be gathering a little bit more, but nothing too severe. I guess by the end of the safety car we're going to have at least 2 laps, maybe 3 here, running at, I think it's less than half speed of the potential of these Formula 1 cars. As the bottom 2 into the pit lane, let's have a quick look at the tyres, see what everybody's going for. So it is a new set of softs for Pro Mayhem and Bradley. If that doesn't confirm the rain, I don't know what will, because you have to run 2 separate compounds in a race, as I'm sure you know. They both started on soft, and they've gone on to another set of soft. Pelderagus also onto new softs, which I believe he did after the lap 1 scrap. Or I say scrap, the pile up happened at the exit of Lecom. Alpha Shroud opting to stay on medium tyres here, with Abzi and Luchek coming back into the pit lane for a second time to put on a brand new set of fresh softs. So that's now 3 sets of softs they've used, 2 sets of softs they've used. I don't actually know. I'll have a very quick look. 2 stops each. I should have been looking, so that's my bad. Possibly soft for those 2 at the back, and of course the front 13 yet to make a pit stop. If they haven't needed to, of course, probably waiting for the rain. I would imagine they would have pitted for mediums at the start of the safety car period if it wasn't going to rain. So I think everything we've had here, the fact that I've been told that it was, plus everybody starting on softs, plus what the tyres would have gone for. The rain is coming, we just don't know when. You see the clouds, they are getting darker, to be fair. You just about see, this used to be blue sky ahead of us. It's now grey and white, which means cloud, for any cloud enthusiasts. I'm sure there's some of you somewhere. And if there isn't any, then I might take up cloud enthusiasm as a hobby. Something to do, isn't it? Anyway, we're on lap 4 of 11. Safety car's been out for 2 laps, or 1.5 laps. Here for the Belgium sprint race. Here in CSGB Racing F2. Or just CSGB F2, I guess. And it is PXTR after a second pole position leading the way. Under the safety car. Tomasz sits in P2 right now, ahead of Kia, who rounds out the current podium places. With Exam behind them, Riznovsky P5, the second Mercedes of Adam, then sitting in P6, ahead of the duo Williams 7th and 8th, currently taking the last 2 of the points that are on hand for today. James Harmon, after starting on the 2nd row, has dropped down to the 5th row now, and is running in P9, ahead of just Mikey. It was looking strong last race, before what could have possibly been a strategy blunder. Pitting a little bit earlier than I would have thought for softs. But then the safety car definitely bringing him back into that. Outside of the top 10, then we apparently have Kay Caston, who finished third last race. I think. I should really know these stuff, it's completely my bad. Anton then, I believe, is the highest of the DNFs last time out. In P12, so he's gained a couple of places there, ahead of McGamer. Pro Mayhem, of course, mounted by a Racing Point last time out, now they are nowhere near him. So he sits down in P14. Bradley P15 with Pelder Ragus, the last of the Ferrari powered cars, in P16. Alpha Shroud, of course, first to retire last time out. And doesn't seem to have had the best of paces, of course, being caught up in the lap 1 incident. In P17, ahead of Abzi, who actually won the last race, and then Luchek down in P19. Managing to get back into position, luckily, after a disconnect on lap 1. But now we are getting ready to go racing here. Safety cars coming in at the end of lap 4. It is now much darker, you can see that in the clouds. The rain is coming. I will repeat it over and over again until I see the water falling from the sky. It's just a matter of when is the rain coming. I thought it would have been sort of end of lap 2, end of lap 3. It is still dry on the track as we get underway now at the end of lap 4. It is PXCR leading us over the line once again, but this time his restart hasn't been as good. As you can see there, the Racing Point just behind him. Pretty much staying with him. By the look of things, everybody is stayed with everybody. As we're going to have a massive train now up the Kemmel Straight towards Lecom. You can just see all the cars there. And now Tomasz may get ready for the racing here to get up the hill. Kieran has been dropped back a little bit behind his battle for the lead commences. A little bit of weaving from side to side, but that is completely fine at the level that it was. The PXR survives the restart, then is leading as they exit Lecom down towards Bruxelles as they start the slow descent down towards the bottom of the track. It looks like we've had a couple of position changes. I believe just Mikey got past James Harmon and Abzi got past Alpha Shroud on the run up to Lecom, or turn 6, to the non-Spa enthusiasts. But it is a clean restart, especially when you compare it to lap 1. Quite a few incidents there. Back a little bit down the field, it looks like Exam's a little bit compromised through the pit flap as the rain now falls. I see a drop on the screen. And that's into the wall. That's Tomasz out of the race. He collects the Mercedes of Exam. That is a real shame. Nothing the Mercedes could do to avoid that. And everybody gets promoted 2 places. Tomasz just losing the car on the exit of Stavolo. No cautions. By the look of things, we are free to race as Adam gets past Rosanowski there. And it looks like Pim's going to try and make a move as well. The rain is definitely coming now. The Williams, in fact both Williams drivers getting past the Renault there on the exit of the bus stop. Or at least JD's going to have to fight for his position here, as I think Rosanowski sent it back up the inside, at least he tried to on Pim. The rain is coming. Luchek into the pit lane. That could be a very good strategy call from him. If you remember what Raffle did last night in the F1 feature race, he could be definitely on for a good strategy call here. See what weight and see what tyres he goes on to. It is the intermediate, so a very smart choice there for Luchek. Don't know if he got damage or if he's just trying to anticipate the weather a little bit here. It's definitely raining. It's getting heavier and heavier. We head down for Bruce House for the second time. Of course, Kia promoted up to P2 now after a mistake from the Racing Point. And you have to feel for Exam in that one. He had absolutely nowhere to go. And he just simply gets collected. JD, however, trying to still get past the Renault as he runs very wide at P1. That just confirms how slippery the track is here. I should go on board with the Williams as he just tries to do something, just see how long he's got to wait to get down the power. And I can see Luchek gaining some positions here. Let's head through a corner that is usually completely flat. That massive lift there from the Williams as he's got much better on than the Renault. He's going to go to the outside as they head up towards Blanchimont. This is very dangerous indeed. He's going to stick it around the outside. A little bit of contact. The Renault has spun. They both spun Williams into the wall. No damage to the Renault until he hits the wall a little bit late. Now the entire field's got to come through. 2 cars facing the wrong way there. And, oh, I'm not too sure about this from Catterson. That's definitely going to be looked at by the stewards after the race. As everybody pits, except from Adam. I think he shot himself in the foot here. These conditions are not nice at all. Intermediates for everybody. If you forget to change over your little custom thingy in the MFD, you could be absolutely screwed here. Looks like everybody has switched over to Inters. So not too bad for anybody. Luchek, where is he to now? We'll leave the leader very briefly. Go find the Alpha Tauri who comes through the first corner now. If the gearbox glitches, we rode on board with him, and he's actually going to get up into P11 here. So he's gained 6 places simply by pitting a lap earlier than everybody else. Of course, JD and Rosanowski with damage. Adam going really slow here. This is pretty much his race over. You can just see he has 0 grip here. We'll move further down then towards Pro Mayhem and Catterson as they go side by side through Lecon. Looks like around the outside for the Alfa Romeo. Not too sure who was ahead before this, as these two haven't quite been at the front of the field battling in this race. But there's going to be the Alfa Romeo that comes out on top for now. Behind them looking quite strong as well as Bradley in the Ferrari. As they head down the hill now towards the pit path. And that's a very sideways moment there from Catterson and not Bradley. Promeo is going to get that position back, if indeed he did lose it up the hill. Very good to hold on to that from Catterson. Very good reactions to have the car pretty much sideways in the wet and then catch it. Twice, in fact. And now Bradley's going to want to get in on this little battle here as they head up towards Blanchimont. Adam now comes into the pit lane, possibly a lap late, in fact definitely a lap late than what he should have done. Especially with his teammate out of the race, you would have thought he would have had all the choices in the world. Maybe tried something different, of course. No harm in trying something wrong. Unless, of course, you're leading the race. I'm not trying something wrong, trying something different. Sorry, my bad. Of course, if you try something wrong, there's everything wrong with that. If you try something different, you can't fault them. But unless you are leading the race, then of course you do pretty much what looks... Actually, no, if you're leading, no. I don't know. I'm messing up the phrase. Just ignore me. I'm a waffler for a reason. I'm very tired. If I can get the camera angle sorted, you will see Patterson and Bradley very close as they head up towards Lecombe. However, nothing changing just now. Looks like Adam hasn't actually lost out as much as I would have thought. He's rejoined in P11. As he's side by side there with Alpha Shroud through turn 6 and 7. Just about holds on there in his Mercedes. Of course, the top 8 get points here, so Ferrari currently occupying that last spot. Getting 1 point. Of course, there's only 15 for the race winner here as Anton picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's going to be costly at the end of the race, however, he doesn't currently lose any places. However, he is down in P15. Completely by himself as well. A little bit further up the grid then we can see McGamer right up behind just Mikey. I think Mikey's gained a lot here. Was he this? I think let me just check something before I say something. Okay, he's gained 2 places. McGamer currently up 11, of course. One of the retirements from the last race. And is now running up in P5 as we have a 3-second time penalty for our race leader. As it stands, it's going to be a second McLaren inheriting a win here. Will Keir risk going for it on track? I have no idea. Definitely might try to go for it, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, what happens. Look further down, looks like Abzi, our feature race winner, is right up behind the Renault of Alpha Shroud. Heading through the very tricky bus stop conditions, of course, in these conditions at least. That is a very difficult corner to master. I guess get right before you master it would be a very good strat. As this battle kind of stays as it is for now. You can see a little bit of a train heading here. However, the McLaren does look quicker of the two at the moment. We'll see what you can do now as they head down the hill towards Eau Rouge. Off over Bradley on, of course, completely off the throttle then for the McLaren. Got a much better run than the Renault. Little bit of a tank slapper. And did very well to catch that, because that would have been a monumentous crash with the Renault as well. I think the Renault lost it a little bit. The McLaren lost it a little bit more. Both of them survived this time around. Look a little bit further up, we can see a nice sort of freeway scrap here, just ahead of the battle you were just watching. Between James Harmon, who, as usual, in the wet, forgetting a Saturn if this is what he did. May well have just. In the wet, it definitely saves you. Not as bad. Luchek and Adam fighting heel to toe right behind it, or shall I say front wing to diffuser. As he head into Piff Bath. Just getting very tight there indeed. Looks like the AlphaTauri just is enough right now to just keep that place up in front of the Mercedes. However, he is only 2 tenths behind now. There's a position change further up. McGamer's gotten past just Mikey into the bus stop chicane. The Red Bull continuing his strong pace from last race and is actually the best of the retirements from last race at the moment, up in P4 now. And we'll try and open that gap. Now, of course, if he can get anywhere near 3 seconds off the leader, it will be a position gained. Have to wait and see what happens there, as Pro Mayhem has pulled away from the guys behind him. As they're kind of left the battle there for P7. Of course, the last 2 points that are on offer there. 7th and 8th, Caston and Bradley currently occupying those places. As behind these two, will stay with them now as they head up towards the top of the hill. Any position change is going to happen here. Doesn't look like it. As we look further back, I think I saw one of the Renaults coming under threat, and that is Abzi trying to make a move up the inside of Lecombe. Now I think he is there. His car is on the inside, and he will move up now into P12. A little bit of a tap from behind as well for good measure. There is now position gained for the McLaren. He's going to try and look to progress a little bit further up here. Luchek has gotten past James Harmon, as these guys have fallen 7 seconds off the back of the points now. As they head down towards Poor. Well, I think like Double Gosh or something. Whatever left is in Belgium, I'm not too sure. I know it's links in German, but that doesn't really help us here in Belgium. Languages do cross over a bit, but I don't think they cross over that much, so. It's Double something, it's double left, the translation. But double left sounds bad compared to pull on, so. As JD picks up a time penalty now, currently running last, so that won't affect him either way. We'll try and find a battle here. Adam as well getting past the racing point, seems to really be struggling. Heading to the bus stop for the final, or penultimate time for these guys. Here's the final time these would have already crossed the line. There's a position change, Catterton and Bradley side by side on the exit of Lecom. Now as they head down the hill, looks like the Alfa Romeo just about manages to stay ahead there. As they head down the hill, of course now flick left, flick right up over the hill, big lift this time over, otherwise you're going to spin. As we head now up towards the top of the hill, we've been given a nice backwards camera here, this isn't even me controlling it. As we go now face forwards, there's the Ferrari appearing from the right, they're actually going to try and go side by side. I wish the game would give me a good camera here. The struggle of this game, I don't know why it just chooses to go on board sometimes, it does not help. But Catterton there, being able to hold on to P7 for now, of course. The Ferrari gets past, he will double his points, which I'm sure is what he would like to do here. Not too long to go now as we head down through the exit. But we're going to head back up to our leaders. There is quite a nice battle going on here between the Red Bull double pole sitter of this evening and Kia in that McLaren behind him. As we head up now to the final section of track. Through the final two corners of the evening, as it stands it will be Kia taking the win. As we head through the bus stop, unless the Red Bull can gain 2 seconds here, which is very unlikely. It's going to be 2 wins for McLaren this evening here in Belgium. Both inheriting on a penalty. This one a little bit more, not as close essentially. This time 1.5 seconds. Him also jumping up past the Red Bull. So our double pole sitter probably won't be happy with a third, considering he took 2 poles. Of course the first pole came due to finishing last, but it is going to be 2 wins for McLaren. Only 10 points for PXTR tonight, despite such promising pace. Of course got caught up in the first race. And Red Bull definitely coming on strong here in the rain, as it's 3rd and 4th for the Austrian outfit. The gamer, of course, very happy in the chat with that. Was first race ended by a mistake, I would assume. And he manages to recover from, I think 16th he started. Getting all the way back up into P4, so very good drive from him. However, Pro Mayhem getting driver of the day in the game. I'm just going to have a very quick look. Okay, this is Kia's second race of the season, the first one coming in the Russian feature race. So there's now a feature and a sprint for him, and 2 sprints in the feature for his teammate. McLaren will be very happy with tonight. We have a very good point score. Of course, 2 wins. I can't remember if their teammates got points in either one. I think Abzi was 12th or 11th here. And I can't quite remember where Kia finished in the last race. I don't think it was too strong, but my memory sucks, so. We're into the final classification of the week then here in CSGB. It is Kia taking the win for McLaren, making it 2 from 2 this evening. Pim continues Williams' strong run of form, finishing P2, ahead of PXTR finishing 3rd with his teammate just behind him in P4 there for Red Bull, getting 2 strong points finishes here. Just Mikey holds on in his AlphaTauri to take P5 ahead of Pro Mayhem, who comes from 18th to finish 6th. Bradley getting some 2 points there for the Scuderia ahead of Catterton, who ends up P8 and the final point. It's going to be outside of the points. It will be Adam in P9 ahead of Abzi, who got so close to double points. Alpha Shroud then finishing P11 ahead of Pelderagus, Anton, James Harmon, Lucek, Rizanowski and JD. Of course, no points for any of them. Fastest lap with JD, however. That would have been from like lap 1 or 2. And then unfortunately Exam and Tomasz both retiring from an incident. That, I don't know, maybe could have been avoided. But Exam, a complete passenger in that. Nowhere to go, and his opponent's car was pretty much during destination for him. Overall, I'd say tonight's been actually some quite good racing. Only 2 safety cars. I think we had 4 virtual safety cars altogether, which is always fun. Safety cars, they definitely, as much as drivers hate them, for people watching, it definitely makes the race a lot more interesting. But apart from that, that will be it from me here today. I would assume Mr. B will be back next week for the US Grand Prix for F1 on Monday. And I will be back, maybe with Duffy, depending if he comes back. I'd imagine he will. On Tuesday for the F2 guys. Of course, same track will be at Austin, Texas. Apart from that, that's not the right button, we want that one there. That'll be it from me today. Hope you've enjoyed, do leave a like, and I'll see you next week.